So, over the weekend, Jesse Ventura decided to endorse Harris Walz for president, vice president. And I want to talk about a little bit about why that particular endorsement is interesting to me. And we'll just take a look at what he said and then we'll discuss.
You have endorsed traditionally third-party candidates, although you did endorse him for his run for governor. Do you intend to endorse the Harris-Walz ticket now?
I've only got a few elections to go. I'm 73 years old now, so the window's closing. I want to be alive to see the first woman president of the United States of America and the first woman commander-in-chief, and we've got her right now.
So you are officially endorsing the Harris-Walz ticket, excuse me.
Yes, I want to see a woman president. It's time for a woman president. We men have screwed it up enough.
Let's start with this. You once held the same job as Governor Walz, and you followed his career. What are your impressions of him?
Well, first and foremost, let me say, Reverend Sharpton, it must have taken you and Jesus to get me back on MSNBC, because I never thought I'd be on this network ever again. And it took two people like you two, I think, to achieve that. But having said that, I'll tell you about Governor Walz, what I see about him. I'm a complete independent. And when he won his first election as governor, within 24 hours, he called me and set up a meeting with me to pick my brain. No other governor's ever done that, Republican or Democrat, but Tim Walz did. And what that showed me, Tim Walz is the kind of guy who's out for success, and he will reach across the aisle because he came to me, the ultra independent in Minnesota, to seek me out to get any information that would help him govern, and I happily did so. And I'll tell you what else he did. 20-some years ago, I tried to legalize cannabis marijuana. I lit the match. Well, the match simmered for 20 years and finally became a flame. And Governor Walz called me and he said, Governor Ventura, you need to be in my office Monday at 11. I'm going to sign into law ending the prohibition of marijuana in Minnesota. It was your idea. You're still alive. You should be there to take credit for this because you're the one who done it. That's the kind of person Tim Walz is.
Wow.
So obviously, Jesse wants to endorse the first female president of the United States, or potentially the first female president of the United States. So he says, I don't have that many elections left in me. I think that the men have had plenty of time to botch things. It's time we had a female president. Okay. So kind of more of an identity politics type endorsement. That's not really all that important. But what I do think is very important is the reasons why he likes Tim Walz. He reached out to Jesse Ventura, who was the governor before him, and wanted to get his opinion about, how he ran things, stuff like that. And Jesse Ventura said, that's really important to me that he wanted my opinion. Even if you may not agree politically, it's politically savvy to just get a lay of the land. The reason I think that the Ventura endorsement is particularly interesting, though, is that this is the type of voter that the Democrats need to be targeting, okay? Is the elusive independent that doesn't really have a home in this country. There's this false perception that comes from having DC brain rot that, like, the independents are just, the halfway point between Democrats and Republicans. And what the Democrats always get wrong is that they campaign slightly to the left of where they would actually govern, but in the general, they have this stupid pivot to the center where they become more like Republicans and they run away from any issue that people actually might like to see get done. And so somebody like Jesse Ventura, who is a part of neither party, is in favor of things like, getting out of the wars. He was vehemently anti-war, and he had a spot on MSNBC before they fired him because he was outspoken about the Iraq war and not wanting to go to war in Iraq. And he was right. For the same reasons that Tim Walz was right for not deploying to Iraq, although the Republicans think that that's like a big attack point, that like, yeah, he didn't deploy to fight a war that was illegal and offensive in nature. Like, that's a bad thing. It's a stupid attack. But also, Jesse Ventura was in favor of legalizing marijuana, which is something that Tim Walz actually got done. Things like legalizing marijuana in all 50 states, things like getting out of the wars, you know, these are things that are important to a lot of people and a lot of independents. But this is not a position that the Democrats would openly say, like, hey, we're running on getting out of all the wars. So anyway, the type of voter that may not necessarily like Democrats or Republicans are more likely to vote Democrat because the Republicans have, one, never met a war they didn't like, and two, they would never do something like legalize marijuana. And there's a ton of other issues that, like, neither party openly says they're for. But if we go back to the original reason why Kamala said she decided to choose Tim Walz as VP, was there were a lot of things that he got through in Minnesota that she says, I would like to replicate that on a national level. And if that's true, if you can even get a quarter of that through, that would be a massive, massive shift in politics today, which is normally like the Democrats will do a half measure of what they propose, and the Republicans will do the worst thing they can possibly imagine, like gutting Roe v. Wade. So anyway, I think it's important that somebody like Jesse Ventura, you know, a fiercely independent candidate, someone who is not going to fit neatly into either the Democrat or Republican box, that he's endorsing that ticket. And that should be a lesson to the Democrats to not take that lightly, that like, hey, we have a real opportunity to win over people. And if I were a smart person and I were running for president, I would be picking the brain of somebody like Jesse Ventura to see what kind of things that they want. Or if you're really trying to get, you know, some of these like third party voters that might vote green or whatever, I can guarantee you that part of what they want is for us to get out of the wars and to stop funding Israel and to focus a lot more on renewable energy here at home and giving people better healthcare here at home. So, like I said, I think it's an interesting endorsement. I don't know how much it will move the needle, but it's definitely worth noting that somebody like Jesse Ventura has said that he would rather vote for Democrats in this cycle than sit it out. And so I'll take for that what it's worth. At least you've got more excitement around it than Biden-Harris did. So anyway, just wanted to throw my opinion out there on that one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed seeing that, and I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.